Hello, this is Cory Turner with the Cory Turner Show, and we're at the Angelica Theater in Dallas at Mockingbird Station to interview Todd Jenkins, the creator and director of Cherokee Creek. Before we start talking about Cherokee Creek, you're an actor, you're a director, you're a writer. Right. Where did it all come from? Where did you start? Where did the passion come from?
Oh my gosh, I guess my aunt introduced me to film when I was really young, probably like 4 or 5.
Okay.
And she would show me movies I wasn't supposed to see. And that included First Blood, Jaws, and Nightmare on Elm Street, which gave me tons of nightmares as a kid.
Yep.
But and I couldn't tell my mom, of course.
Right.
She'd always sneak me over and go, "Hey, I want you to see this movie," and I'd go over there and watch like First Blood. And back when Blockbuster was around, they would do like weekly rentals on the weekend, and I'd just go over there and watch as many movies as I could.
Okay, very cool. So film has always been, or movies always been part of your life growing up.
Right, but I never thought about being a filmmaker, an actor, any of that back then.
Okay, when did that start?
That was all purely accidental.
Okay.
I was at a job. I don't want to get too detailed about it because it's a long story, but I was at this job that was going away, basically, and I was just playing around on the computer, and this lady was looking for extras for a Chuck Norris movie, and she said, "Hey, you should come out and be an extra in a Chuck Norris movie." And I was like, "Oh, I love movies. I spend all my money collecting DVDs and movies and such."
Right.
So I went out there, and after the very first day of being an extra, I was like, "Man, I would love to do this as a career."
You got the bug, huh?
Right. So I got the bug, and then after the job went away, I dove in full speed ahead into the film industry.
Okay.
But I didn't know what I wanted to do at first. I first started out doing stunts for that Chuck Norris movie because I just wanted to be on camera. I was like, I want to be seen. I don't care if I get killed doing it. I'm going to be seen somehow doing something.
You started as a stuntman?
On accident, yes. Whatever it took, because I wasn't happy being an extra. I was like, I got to be seen. I got to be able to say something. And just doing the stunt, I was like, oh, that's awesome. I could tell everybody I was a stuntman in a Chuck Norris movie. So that was the coolest thing ever. And then after that whole first year, I started learning how to act a little bit, and then I realized after doing it for a year, I wanted to learn a little bit about everything because I'd be on these sets. These were all independent movies, and someone wouldn't show up. There wouldn't be a sound guy that day or something like, "Hey, Todd, hold this boom," or hey, Todd, hold the camera. And I started thinking, hey, I could learn how to do all this.
All of it.
I love all of it. So.
One-man show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so some friends of the show have sent us some questions.
Okay.
So when it came to Cherokee Creek, you've seen my review.
Right.
Am I pretty close to spot on how I described it?
I loved your review because you don't give anything away of the story. Because the thing about this movie is if I show too much in the trailer or if I tell you too much in a synopsis, it gives away everything in the movie.
Right.
And there's so many things that I want to keep hidden from the audience so they can experience it in the theater or however they're going to see it on VOD later on this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So. It's like a magician. You want to see the trick because this whole movie is full of tricks nonstop. That's why I love it. So one question was, what was the inspiration for Cherokee Creek?
Oh wow, the inspiration for Cherokee Creek was Billy Blair and I had done this Bigfoot movie.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't say the title of it, so I won't.
Okay.
But back in the day, I wanted to meet Billy, and we finally met on this Bigfoot movie, and it had C. Thomas Howell in it and Judd Nelson. We were so excited about being a part of this. These guys had an awesome budget. They treated us great. We all had trailers, the hotel rooms, the works.
Oh, big time.
Just a great environment to work in. We loved it. And then the movie came out, and unfortunately it was crap.
Okay.
And I had a relative, I guess it was during the holidays, and he had all this property up in Melissa. And he kept saying, hey, when are you going to do your own movie? You're going to do your own movie. You need to do a movie here on my property. And I couldn't think of any movie to do. But for some reason, I was still so angry about how bad that Bigfoot movie was.
Right.
I was like, maybe we could do a Bigfoot movie, but we'd have to make it so different from anything I've seen and put a totally different spin on it.
Sure.
And I was in the car talking with my nephew about it, bouncing some ideas off of him. And his name is Jared. And then I got the idea to do this bachelor party type movie.
Okay.
And then I talked with my wife, Araceli, about it, and then Billy a little bit about it. And then we kind of came up with a structure for an outline.
Right.
So that's how it began.
And here it is. So I was on set with you. Fun, laid-back, exciting set. Crew all jumped in, from actors to sound people, helping with everything, right?
What crew?
I know, yeah, I know.
I think you were there the one night when we actually had one professional sound guy come out one night.
That was the night I was there.
That was the night you were there, but we never had professional.
This is big time.
There was no crew, man. There was no crew.
Well, that goes back to you being the one-man show.
Right.
Because that's kind of how it was. You were just nonstop going, kind of covering everything. And acting.
I was at first, and then C.G. Lewis, who was one of our actors in the movie, he came on. I told him at first, I said, you have to agree to help me on this. I know you have no crew experience, but I will train you every day how to do stuff.
Okay.
And this guy had amazing hustle, and he shot some of the kidnapping stuff at the beginning of the movie that you saw.
Yeah,
but I literally threw him in there with a Ronin gimbal, which is like a Steadicam thing.
Right.
He'd never used anything like that in his life.
Right.
And I'm like, we're having all these things go wrong. I'm like, dude, you got to get the best take of your life right now. At this moment.
This is it.
So it was all like learning on the spot for these guys. These guys had no crew experience at all, and I was just giving it to the actor and go, hey, I want you to film me doing this. It has to look like this, and then follow me do that. So I'd kind of show him what I wanted to do.
Sure.
And then Sheldon, who had just married a cousin of mine, he was at one of our family functions when I was location scouting, and Melissa, and he said, oh, I've always wanted to be in the movie business. So one day someone didn't show up, and I was like, that guy Sheldon said he wanted to help on our movie, so I'm
Come on out, right?
So I called him, and he came out, and he was my assistant cameraman.
Okay.
And he filmed all the stuff of me for the movie.
Okay.
So luckily, every day that I had shots of me, he was there.
He was doing it.
But there was actually times we had nobody on set. I mean, there might be times there was only like 2 or 3 actors, and I was doing sound, lighting, and camera. Because as the movie progressed, it was getting to where it was like less and less people were available. So it did really turn into the one-man show. But a lot of times it was like, hey, actor, do you mind holding the boom and just checking the sound? Because I would try to mix the right levels and just have them hit the record button. Yeah. But it turned out amazing.
It did fantastic.
It really did.
You wouldn't know there wasn't a full crew there. I mean, the movie comes off great. But wearing both hats, director and actor, you ever going to do it again?
Oh, being a director and actor doesn't bother me at all. Okay. It's all the crew stuff that's a little harder. When you got to worry about wardrobe was one of the hardest things to do because there's times in the movie where people have jackets on, then jackets off.
Sure, continuity, right?
And every day when we would meet at set, I'd say, okay, today, remember, when we're doing this scene, have your jacket off. And they would forget. And of course, I've got so much on my mind because I'm setting up lights and cameras and all this. I would forget. So like an hour into shooting the scene, we're like, oh my God, dude, you didn't take your jacket off. In this part of the scene, you've already taken your jacket off in the movie, so put your jacket back on. And we never planned on shooting in 15-degree weather. That was one of the...
It got very cold.
Right, that was one of the most coldest winters we've had in a while. So we had
That's probably why some people's availability got less and less as it went on, right? Because it got cold.
I would imagine so. I think that sound guy after that first night, even though we did have the girls out that night, you would think he'd want to come back.
Yeah.
He never came back.
That was it.
That was it for him.
Okay, so we had someone ask you, did you reach a point in the movie where like, I'm done, I don't want to, this is just too much? How did you push through? Because I imagine, I've been on sets, I've filmed movies, that happens almost every day, where you have to okay. So did you hit those points and how did you push through? Oh my gosh, I hit those points constantly. The very first day I hit that point, our first 30 minutes of shooting, the drone pilot that was out there, he was showing me this cool shot and he accidentally crashed it into the branch on take 2 and it went diving into the water and it's freezing cold outside and C.G. Lewis and Justin Duncan dove into the water, saved the drone, saved the footage. Because me as the director, I'm like, is the footage okay? Is it okay?
I don't care if the poor guy's drone's destroyed. I just want to know, did you get the shot?
Let the drone sink, we're okay.
But I cared a little bit, but I was more concerned with the footage.
Right.
So that was the thing. And then it started pouring down rain, and we had Terry Dale Parks in the movie for one day only because he was going to take a leave of absence from acting to have a family. Okay. And he had promised me one day only. So it's raining constantly. We're having to take the breaks between the rain. Right. And nothing's going right. We're 3 hours behind on shooting. It was the worst experience of my life. Sure. I just said, you know what, no matter what, just keep shooting. Yeah. Just keep shooting. And it turned out to be some of the best footage of the movie.
It turned out to be good. Yeah. All the way. So, is there like a behind the scenes story that's your favorite? I mean, usually when you look back at movies, it's usually not the premiere. It's like what happened on set. It's like, man, that was incredible. Do you have a behind the scenes thing that happened to you, experience?
Oh man, behind the scenes stuff that I think that was a lot of fun. The fun stuff all happened early on because as you continue to go, there's more obstacles that you have to deal with. Because Murphy's Law really does happen when you make a movie. You always have to plan for the worst, and a lot of times it happens. I think probably one of the funnest days, or the funniest day for me, was working with my mom. Okay. As you know, she makes an appearance in the movie. Right. And she says a lot of crazy things that's going to shock the audience. Okay. So just getting her to go wild with the lines and have fun with them. Because these are things she said anyway.
Because she's not really an actress,
right? We had a lot of people we brought in who were not actors in the movie, but I knew them as characters in my real life. And I thought, I think you'll be perfect for the movie. Just be you. Yeah, and
I wrote it for you.
Right. Say the things that you normally say, and it's going to come out great. And she killed it. But it was funny. Like every time she would say a line, she'd go, is it good? You know, and I'm like, stop talking, the scene's not
Don't
over.
look at the camera.
And then, you know, we had our mask on and everybody would start cracking up. So that was a fun moment. And then there's a scene with Jeff Swearengin that's in the movie.
Okay.
With Billy, I think he's, you know, the little autograph thingy.
Oh,
but
hilarious.
He plays that part so good, and the comedy is so straight that when I was filming it, I would start shaking with the camera because he'd have these long moments of pausing and these beats that would go on forever, and I was like, is he gonna say anything? And then I would just start cracking up.
Yes, I was there that night, and I was having to be careful not to laugh. And the audio guy kept looking at me, but I was like, the dramatic pauses in between were so funny, and the delivery was perfect.
Right.
Well, it was written so well. I mean, that's what made it funny. So now Billy Blair's in this. So how do you guys know each other?
Well, we came back from the Bigfoot movie. I knew him from Machete. I became friends with him on Facebook because of Machete and some of the movies he was doing.
Okay.
And he was going to be doing a movie called Blood Sombrero that they were doing funding for.
Okay.
And me being an actor, I was like, oh, I want to meet Billy Blair. I want to be in his movie. So I was sending this guy all kinds of stuff. Like, hey, look at my short film. Look at my demo reel.
Right.
And he was just like, yeah, right, whatever. But then he was forced to work with me on that Bigfoot movie. So if it wasn't for the bad Bigfoot movie, I would have never met Billy Blair.
Right.
I would have never had that great experience of meeting all the people I met on that set.
Yes.
And then I wouldn't have got so mad about how bad it was to make my own movie. So all those terrible things that were happening were really blessings in disguise for me.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it was good. And it was funny is you and Blair being that friends, yet hating each other, yet getting mad at each other, yet getting each other's way. I mean, that relationship is funny, and you can tell it's longer than just this one set.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that is cool. You guys have been together for a while.
I think that's true in real life with us, though, because we are actors and we do compete against each other a lot for all these roles.
Right.
So we're friends, but when we go in the audition room, it's like, I want to beat him and he wants to beat me. And there's a lot of funny stories about when I've gotten roles he didn't get or he got roles I didn't get. And then we kind of joke and poke fun of that in the movie as well.
Yeah, you play that in the movie. It's hilarious.
It's a really funny deleted scene, but the scene was just too long, so we weren't able to use some of that.
Had to cut it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So, okay, I know crew, but as far as your takeaways from making this movie, because this is your directorial debut.
Right.
It's the first one you've been the guy on, right? So, positive, negative takeaways, would you change something next time? I know crew is one, right? Is there some other stuff you'd have done different?
Oh man, you know, seeing the final product of the movie, no matter what hell I had to go through to make this movie,
right?
Looking back now, it's all worth it.
Okay.
Every single bit, because I think even when you hear the story of Jaws, you know, everything was so horrible on Jaws, and they wanted to fire Steven Spielberg, and the shark wasn't working. But because the shark wasn't working, it was that blessing that they needed to not show it that much,
right?
Which built up on the suspense,
right?
And then they had to shoot the stuff with the barrel, and then the score was more, and then you see the fin. So I think it was kind of the same thing with us. A lot of the stuff that we faced the obstacles of not having an actor that night, or I had to write a new scene, or we had to improv something.
Right.
Every little obstacle that we faced ended up being a great blessing in the final product.
Yes.
So I couldn't be more happy with this movie. I love this movie. I think if I had even like a $5 million budget, if they were to give me a $5 million budget now and say, or 10 million, whatever, and said, hey, you can cast whoever you want, A-list actors, and redo the whole thing, special effects the way you want, I don't think it would have the same magic that we have with what we have currently.
No, absolutely, I agree. Sometimes it's that magic that's so more important than having all the extra stuff that you could afford.
Exactly. I think it was the hardship of making it that made it that good.
Right.
I wouldn't want to do it again.
Yeah.
But I think that's what made the movie so well.
That was the magic part. Okay, so I've seen the movie. It's a shock movie. We know that, right? Half the time you're barely recovering from the last shock, like, what did they just do to the next one? How do you think audiences are going to respond to the movie?
Well, I think, first of all, if you're going to see this movie, you have to be a huge fan of raunchy comedies, because I push the envelope on the raunchy and the comedy. Yes. So if you don't like raunchy comedies and you're offended by language or nudity, don't see this movie. Right. It is going to offend you right off the bat. In the first 10 minutes, you'll be wanting to leave. And I did that on purpose. I made this for a specific audience, people who love raunchy comedies and people who love the 80s horror genre. Right. If you like that and you love Bigfoot, I think we deliver on the Bigfoot for the first time. This is not a Bigfoot movie where we're like, we hint that there's a Bigfoot or you see a shadow, or we don't show the gruesome death scenes. Right. We show the Bigfoot. Yes. He's awesome. I think the special effects team, Emma Campbell and Andy Aerosmith, they killed it. Absolutely. They gave me everything I've ever wanted for the gore and the Bigfoot, and I think they delivered on that. And I think the audiences are going to love that.
Yeah, and as far as Bigfoot, you showed a lot and probably more than we expected to see. Right?
Oh yeah,
all the way through. Yeah,
I don't
which
think
made it special. I mean, that's what made it like wow, right?
Right. I don't think people are going to be. The way he kills people in this movie is different than anybody's ever seen on film. Right. I think.
I agree.
And that's part of the shock and awe of it.
Absolutely.
I want to show that, you know, and I think he's a good Bigfoot. Even the people who love Bigfoot, if you really pay attention to the story, he's not out to just kill these people for no reason.
Yeah.
He has a reason for everybody who gets maimed in the movie or killed, whatever you want to call it. They deserve it because of what they're doing.
Yeah, I always say it's Bigfoot doesn't like the debauchery that's happening in his backyard, and so he's cleaning house.
And I loved how you use the word debauchery because we use that in the movie as well.
And it fits.
Right, it does. It fits so well because this movie is full of debauchery.
It is, yeah. Okay, so one last thing between just you and me.
All right.
Is there a sequel?
I've got some ideas for a 2 and a 3rd one. So it could be a trilogy if it does really well.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Fantastic.
But the audience, I mean, the thing to make any movie successful, especially in this day and time, is social media.
Yes.
We're going to need people to go out and talk about the movie on social media, do videos, post, and word of mouth. I mean, we're going to need people to talk about this. This is an independent film that I plan on keeping 100% independent. Because if any small distributor gets involved, or even a big studio, they're going to be like, we got to change this, we got to cut these scenes out, this is too gory, this is too raunchy, we want to change the name of the movie, we don't like the poster. I want to keep it 100% intact with what we got. I think we got magic, and I believe in it 100%.
I believe in that absolutely. And so as far as the friends of my show, they need to go, they need to like the Facebook page, they need to follow, they need to share, they need to get involved, right?
Right, and when you share the page, put a message why you shared it, because a lot of times people just go, oh, I shared it, you know, but if you don't say why they should like it, and also even take that extra step, you know, a lot of times we talk about it, just go to the page and click invite and invite your friends that like this type of film.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's the most important thing, is to take that extra step, click invite, and invite the people who like the genre.
And getting involved, because when we're supporting independent film, we're supporting all of the independent filmmakers.
Exactly.
And I like the angle you're taking with it, keeping it pure to your voice, what you want, what your crew, what your cast is, and then taking it to masses that way. And it's working, man. It's a great movie. I can't wait for everybody to see it.
I can't either. We did a test screening of about 100 people, and you know, 95 of the 100 loved it. So I think that's some good odds right there.
I think the other 5% were speechless. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, they were the ones I'm talking about that should not be watching a raunchy horror comedy.
Horror, probably not the
They didn't get the memo. They thought, this is raunchy, and it's got a lot of stuff in it. I'm like, yeah, I told you.
All right, man, so you ready to go have lunch?
I am.
Dude,
thank you so much for having me on the show, man.
Thanks for watching. A big thank you to Todd Jenkins for taking the time to sit down with us, and a huge shout out to the Angelica Movie Theater and Mockingbird Station in Dallas for letting us use their beautiful location. Remember to go to Facebook and like the Cherokee Creek Facebook page. Be sure to follow and keep yourself updated on when it's going to be showing in your area. And let's keep talking about movies.